Hey guys, today we are going to be on page 192 working on two short pieces of poetry by William Blake. Blake was born in the middle 1700s, 1735 if I remember correctly. Deeply religious man, very deeply religious. I almost say that he's almost a sort of a throwback to the Puritans. He was by trade an engraver. He worked with metals. He believed that he was having visions, messages from God. He believed that his brother came to him and told him a special technique of engraving things of this nature. If he's ever written anything that was not of a religious nature, I don't think I've ever come across it. And the two poems we're going to read today, The Lamb on 193 and The Tyger on 195, are very typical of his work. Short, probably if we're going to put a label on them, I would call them maybe ballads or possibly odes. In the sense that, ballad in the sense that they're short narrative poems. And The Lamb and the Tyger go together hand in glove. These are two, they're called sister pieces. And they relate in their subject matter. So that's why we've got the picture of the lamb and the tiger there on our screens. On 192, we learned about symbolism. A symbol is something that represents or stands for something else. The word or image used as a symbol has two levels of meaning. It has a concrete or literal meaning. This includes those traits denoted by a word or image. It also has an abstract or symbolic meaning. This includes the traits connotated by the word or image. The bald eagle is a large bird of prey noted for its strength, size, grace, and power of flight. This is the concrete or literal meaning of eagle. All right? When used symbolically, we add connotations such as independence, bravery, dignity, and wisdom. These connotations are suggested by the symbol of the bald eagle. So literally, what denotation means is what something really is, has, or does. It's concrete or real life reality, right? It uses the example of the bald eagle. Bald eagle is a large bird of prey. It has a 3-foot wingspan. It has white feathers, brown feathers, yellow eyes, yellow beak, talons. It eats small game and fish. All right? These are all things that an eagle has or does. These are its real-life denotative traits. Now, connotative, on the other hand, is symbolic or abstract. It's the ideas that pop into your head when you think about something, or the ideas that you associate with a thing. All right? Again, you see the eagle standing there like this, all right, looking proud and majestic. And, there's right there, we just did two examples of connotation. We said proud and majestic, all right? The bird looks dignified. The bird looks regal, all right? The bird has no idea what proud, dignified, regal, or majestic are, but he does know what a rabbit is, all right? So the one is what it really is, and the other is the ideas that we associate with it, all right? Another good example is your heart, all right? Denotatively speaking, your heart is a pump made out of muscle, all right? It drives your blood through your body thousands of times every day. It's the densest, strongest muscle in your body. Apparently, if every muscle in your body was as tough as your heart, as strong as your heart, you could pick up a car, all right? It pounds with such force, it pumps with such force that if you were to open a major artery, the blood would shoot 30 feet straight out in an arc, all right? These are all things that your heart really is, has, or does, all right? Now, connotatively, your heart is love, all right? It's courage, all right? It's the center of things, all right? We're going to get to the heart of the matter. We're going to get to the center of the matter, all right? Things of that nature. So again, denotation is real. Connotation is symbolic or abstract. A good way to keep it straight in your mind, con, not real. Someone's running a con, something that's not real, okay? Well, I'll include all this in your notes just to be on the safe side. As you read the selection, ask yourself the following questions. What does the lamb symbolize, and what does the tiger symbolize? All right, on 193, we start with the lamb. And these are just two simple little short poems, but they're just packed with symbolism. All right? Little lamb, who made thee? Dost thou know who made thee? Gave thee life and bid thee feed by the stream and over the mead. Gave thee clothing of delight, softest clothing, woolly bright. Gave thee such a tender voice, making all the vales rejoice. Little lamb, who made thee? Dost thou know who made thee? All right, so someone is literally, and it's always assumed that this is a child asking the lamb, who made it, and it's asking who made you into what you are, who gave you this soft, woolly, bright clothing, who gave you that soft, tender little voice that you have. All right, which makes everyone who hears it happy. Who made you? Do you know who made you? All right. Now, if you were to ascribe connotation or denotation to this stanza, I think we have to ascribe denotation, because despite the fact we have, in theory, a small child asking a lamb who made it, it is describing the lamb's environment, where the lamb lives, the lamb's appearance, and the sound that the lamb makes. All right. Now, the second stanza, on the other hand, is entirely symbolic in nature. All right. Little lamb, I'll tell thee, little lamb, I'll tell thee. He is called by thy name, for he calls himself a lamb. He is meek and he is mild. He became a little child. I, a child, now a lamb. We are called by his name. Little lamb, God bless thee. Little lamb, God bless thee. All right. The child is explaining to the lamb who its creator is. All right. He is called by thy name, for he calls himself a lamb. All right. This whole stanza is referring to Jesus. All right. He is called by thy name, for he calls himself a lamb. Jesus is often referred to as the Lamb of God. Right? In the old Hebrew tradition, lambs were sacrificed for the absolution of sin. Jesus, according to Christianity, was sacrificed for the absolution of the sins of all humanity. All right? He became a little child. Again, according to Christianity, Jesus was quite literally God born in the form of a human baby. All right? I, a child, and thou a lamb, we are called by his name. I think this refers to how Jesus is often referred to as the Good Shepherd, and how humanity is his flock. All right? We are his sheep, and he calls us and we come. According to Christianity, again, as with all the pieces that we have done where religion is at work, no one's trying to convert you. No one's trying to preach to you. All right? Now, as a greater whole, this poem is often thought to represent innocence. All right? And again, if we think of the imagery here, a little child speaking to a lamb, a baby sheep, and it's the innocence that comes before we have knowledge of the world. All right, we don't know, all right, what's going on in the world yet, so we accept such things as what this child is saying. Having a conversation with a lamb and ascribing divinity to the lamb. All right. Now, so on a basic level, this poem is about the innocence of a child, of people, before we learn, before we grow and experience things in the real world. And it's also symbolic of Jesus. All right. Now, the second poem on page 95, The Tyger, is an entirely different kettle of fish. It's got a lot of different meanings that people interpret to it. Entirely different tone as well. Again, the lamb, we have this, again, a sense of innocence. A little child having a conversation with a lamb in a beautiful green valley. All right, they're playing together. It's nice, it's cool, it's peaceful. You ain't going to get none of that on the Tyger. All right. Tyger, Tyger, burning bright in the forest of the night. What a mortal hand or eye could frame that fearful symmetry. The speaker is asking the same question of the tiger that was asked of the lamb. Do you know who made you? Who set down the lines of your symmetry? Who set down the lines of your shape? Who made you what you are? All right? In what distant deeps or skies burnt the fire of thine eyes? On what wings dare he aspire? What hand dare seize the fire? Where did that burning predatory gleam in the tiger's eye come from? All right, who would dare seize that fire and put it in the tiger's eye? All right, and what shoulders and what art could twist the sinews of thy heart? And when thy heart began to beat, what dread hand and what dread feet? Who took the tiger's heart and literally, it uses the word twisted, all right? Who took the tiger's heart and twisted it and molded it and shaped it into the heart of a predator, all right? A killer, all right? And who set that heart beating, all right? What the hammer, what the chain, and what furnace was thy brain? What the anvil, what dread grasp dare its deadly terrors clasp? All right. I have two images going on in my mind with this stanza. First off, he describes hammer, chain, furnace, anvil. It's like we're in a blacksmithy. All right. And I have this image. It's a silly image. I have this silly image of the tiger's brain on an anvil and someone literally pounding on that brain with a hammer, shaping it like you would shape metal, beating into the tiger's brain. Predatory instincts, killer instincts, making it into a hunter, making it into a killer. All right. And then you have the complete and total opposite of antithesis of the images we had with the lamb, a beautiful green valley in the mountains. Here we've got again a dark, hot, smoky, burning blacksmithy with hammers and chains and anvils. All right. When the stars threw down their spears and watered heaven with their tears, did he smile his work to see? Did he who made the lamb make thee? Whoever it was that made you, in the beginning of creation, when the stars are raining down, did whoever made you smile to see what he had created in you? Because if you think about it, what is a tiger? It's an 800-pound killing machine, a 600-pound killing machine. All right, it's designed and built to hunt and kill. That's what it does. All right. So whoever built the tiger smiled to see what he had wrought, and then he asked the question: did he who made the lamb make thee? All right, and that's then we've got our picture right here. All right, did the same being that created this animal, which is pretty much helpless, defenseless, meek and mild, create this animal, which is designed to hunt and kill? All right. Anything but meek and mild. All right. Did he who made the lamb make thee? All right. Now, nowhere in this does the speaker try to answer his own questions. He's just asking these questions. All right. And he opens and closes with the same question. Tiger, tiger, burning bright in the forest of the night, what a mortal hand or eye dare frame thy fearful symmetry? Who made you? All right. Now, again, tremendous amount of stuff going on in this poem. Tremendous amount of stuff. First off, we talked about how the lamb, perhaps innocence, it represents innocence. The tiger, some people believe that the tiger is experience, learning. As we get older, we learn. And the things we learned as a child, we find out they're not necessarily true. That the world doesn't necessarily work the way we thought it did. And we learn harsh lessons that take away our innocence and leave us with something else in exchange. All right, experience. Maybe it's a good experience. Maybe it's a bad experience. Blake seems to indicate that experience comes through pain. All right, and perhaps leads to further pain. And, they have the expression innocence, ignorance is bliss. There's also a passage from the Bible that says, he who increaseth knowledge increaseth sorrow. The more you know, the more unhappy you will become. All right. This is perhaps referring back to Adam and Eve in the garden. They were innocent and had no knowledge of the world, and therefore were very happy until they ate of the tree of knowledge, and in eating of the tree of knowledge, they gained wisdom, experience, and were suddenly unhappy. All right, and this leads to their expulsion from Eden. Some people take it in a different direction. They think that the tiger perhaps represents the lamb and the tiger really represent the dual nature of humans. All right, On the one hand, we can be very good. We can help each other. We can hold out a hand to someone in need. We can be charitable. All right. We can be saviors. All right. And then there's the other half of human nature that is destructive and predatory. The one that will prey upon the weakness of others. The one that will exploit weakness in others. The one that is aggressive and destructive. All right. So maybe that's what Blake is doing with these two poems right here. He's talking about the dual nature of human beings, right? And that one I can kind of get behind. I like that one a lot. There's also another theory that the tiger is being used to represent every destructive thing in the world, all right? Every harmful, destructive thing. And that Blake is asking, when he says, did he who made the lamb make thee? He's asking, if God is a good and loving God, why would he make things that do nothing but bring harm? Why is there Ebola? Why is there COVID-19? Why is there injustice? Why is there war? Why is there hardship? Why are there tornadoes? Why is there hurricanes? Why is there starvation? Why is there, war? And he never tries to answer that question himself. He just, you'll notice it all ends in question marks. He's asking questions and never presumes to try to answer himself. A lot of people, and I'm one of those people, they think that this is Blake asking God, why is the world this way? Why did you make the world this way? All right. Why isn't the world full of fluffy little lambs? Why is it, why is there hardship and suffering in the world? All right. And, I'm sitting here thinking this is a very timely poem for the times that we're living in. Lastly, some people think that the tiger refers to the corruption of man and nature. Again, Blake was an extremely religious fella. If you haven't figured that out by now, you've not been paying attention. And they think this could refer to perhaps the world and the humans and the other animals in it are not what God intended us to be. That we were changed and altered, made different than we're supposed to be. And again, referring back to Genesis, it speaks of how, having lost his war with God, the devil goes into Eden and basically just kind of he morphs himself into a snake, a serpent, and he starts fiddling with God's creations, meddling about, trying to wreck what he can. And if you take the poem in that context, it gets a little more sinister. The second stanza, who would dare seize that fire, that predatory instinct, and put it in the tiger's eye? The devil did it. All right, who literally twisted the tiger's heart into something other than what it was meant to be? The devil did it. All right, the whole fourth stanza, we're in this blast furnace, this forge, hellish imagery, and the tiger's brain being shaped into something other than what it was supposed to have been. All right, when the stars threw down their spears and watered heaven with their tears, the war in heaven, the angels who sided with Lucifer duking it out with the angels who remained loyal to God. All right, did he smile his work to see? Was the devil pleased when he saw the changes he had wrought in the tiger? All right. A whole bunch of stuff, obviously, to unpack there. Just tons and tons of stuff. And I'll type all this up in your notes. You'll be able to refer back to it. Do your questions as normal. The lamb is a very easy one to do your poetry recitation on for the extra credit. Remember, you start at 100 points. Every mistake you make, you lose a point. Even if you make great big giant pile of mistakes, you're still going to end up with a great big pile of points. Contact me if you need any help. Email, text, call, whatever you need to do. I hope you guys have a good day today.